Thank you for attending both my sessions, gentlemen. Appreciate that, and welcome, ladies. Have you been using HootSuite? Yeah, awesome. You're also very, very much engaged in using it.
Camille, she just presented the other session.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for presenting. So I'm just going to show off some advanced tactics here, and then we're going to do a little workshop because I talked a lot before and talk about system. So really, I'm just going to show you some advanced techniques with HootSuite that I am so amazed that nobody's really using. The tool is capable of so much. The first thing is, you can use lots of social networks, including Ning or Ping or MySpace. How many want MySpace? Or WordPress, LinkedIn, your Twitter accounts, your Facebook pages, your Facebook profiles. They all are postable through HootSuite. You can schedule to all these social networks, and you can post all of them. Shrinking and tracking. So most of you already know about shrinking and tracking with HootSuite. How many will use Google Analytics? Couple? Sweet. So when using Google Analytics, how many know what custom URL parameters are? Sweet. That's good. Oh, one guy. Awesome. So the custom URL parameters will actually tag your tweet. So let's say you're putting a post out to your website, you can actually tag how someone got there, give it that kind of information. So they came from Facebook. This was a tweet about XYZ. When you go to Google Analytics on the back end, it's actually going to segment those visitors. So you're going to actually see how those visitors are acting on your website. And that's what custom URL parameters is. I want to go a little advanced here, so that's what we're doing. Go ahead.
So how is this different from me using like a Google URL documents?
It's exactly the same, but it's all in one place.
Okay.
Yep.
I like it.
So if you're familiar with Google URL Builder, it's exactly the same thing. If you've ever clicked a link that has a question mark at the end and then all this text and stuff, that's what that stuff is. That stuff, the question mark tells the browser to ignore everything after that, but Google Analytics picks up on that information and tracks how the visitor got there, and then you can see what they're doing on the site. Go ahead.
So how does it, like, does it internal campaign IDs and external, or does it?
You choose what the IDs are.
So yeah, I haven't used it. Okay.
Yeah.
I should have used
So
it before.
it's all good. Well, when you use URL Builder, you choose the IDs of your campaigns. It works exactly the same way here. Is you're choosing what the IDs or the identifiers are using custom URL parameters. So if you're not using Google Analytics, definitely jump on there. If you aren't the coder in your business, get the coder. It's a matter of cutting and pasting like a tiny snippet of code into the bottom of your page, and then it's going to track all your visitors, how they got there, what they do when they get there. I'm stoked. I love questions.
Can we use the custom URL parameters for a site that doesn't have Google Analytics embedded in it?
If it's Omniture or something like that, like if it's another analytical tool, it'll work, but you have to have an analytics tool. Without the analytics tool, there's nothing to read that and to measure that and to segment those visitors. So you need Google Analytics. I always take Google Analytics because it's free, but there's Omniture, which is an expensive one, and there's a whole bunch of other ones that are more expensive.
It's kind of a question. All your limit shorteners, what are the difference between Owly and Hootly?
Okay, so Owly is the .li, as I said earlier, is just because we wanted to let people choose a non-Libyan domain name in light of Muammar Gaddafi's current stuff he's doing. People are kind of good.
Sorry. Was the fact that there is the Libyan URL, did that have anything to do with why tweets were getting through from Libya and HootSuite?
The reason tweets were getting through in Libya on HootSuite is because Muammar Gaddafi and his team know that Twitter and Facebook are bad domains, but they don't know about HootSuite.
Okay.
So every time strife happens somewhere in the world, people turn to HootSuite. In Egypt, we saw a giant spike of traffic once they shut down the other sites. In Tunisia, in Libya, in Syria. So whenever we actually can almost see, based on how many people are jumping on HootSuite, if there is something going on in the country in terms of the web communications. Very, very fascinating. We're working right now to try and create some algorithms so we can actually see if things are happening.
Like social unrest.
Yeah, predicting sort of, yeah, so that's exactly right. When tons of people jump on HootSuite, it's a sign that they've been told, hey, this is something that the government will be able to block, and we should use this tool. It allows us to post to all of these social networks.
So shortly, you guys will be on the block list.
I sure hope not. Although students at universities also love HootSuite because Facebook's blocked, Twitter's blocked, or at high schools. And so I see tweets once in a while from someone being like, yay, I can't go on Twitter or Facebook, I can use HootSuite. So, what was that?
Like, shut up.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, spread the word.
Hootsuite kind of obeys the same laws as Twitter in the sense that it was created and then people who use it kind of have manifested and done all the things that are happening. Like the people who originally created Hootsuite would never have thought of Libya or of being common in Egypt or of seeing a giant spike during an earthquake in Japan. So, Smart Search, I talked about this a little bit off the top, but this on the right-hand side is the search that I used to teach myself about social media to become a teacher. I know it's totally crazy, but it is social media in quotes with HTTP, which means I'm looking for links that talk about social media. I used that 2 years ago. I started reading everything I could and going through to all kinds of different areas of the web and learning through that tool. You can see here that I've got this long string. How many people know what Boolean is? I talked about Boolean search, Smart Search, and, or, minus, quotes. Those are the only 4 things that you need to know about it. They're called Smart Search. When you're using Google, for example, if you put capital and, it's going to equally weight each term. So I put Hootsuite and university, it's going to bring back only links or results that have both of those words in it. Whereas if I put Hootsuite space university, it's going to weigh the first word at 80% and the second word at 20%. When you use Twitter, the space is the same as the capital and. So this is kind of like an Excel, who remembers if statements from their last Excel class at uni or high school maybe? Anyway, if statements. So what I'm looking at here is I want to find links that have Hootsuite and learn, or education or learning, or teaching, and it goes on and on. I've created this giant string. So anytime anyone talks about Hootsuite with a term that's about learning or education, I'm bringing back those results. Depending on what your organization is, I strongly recommend you try and create some of these long string searches for Twitter, where you're able to bring back lots of relevant results. And adding HTTP to any term is going to bring back links. It's going to wipe out all that, all those gray tweets, all those opinions that are less useful than links to valuable stories. So Listomania, my kind of theme is songs and lyrics. I don't know if anybody knows this song, it's one of my favorites. You can actually create a new list from within the Hootsuite dashboard. If you're not familiar with Twitter lists, they're sort of the second level of categorizing and segmenting your audience so that you can easily track and keep up with important people. So if there are prospects that you have, let's say you have prospects for donation, prospects for volunteering, people who talk about volunteering, you can put them in a list. You can put them in a public list, which means they'll know you put them in a list. It's kind of like a compliment. So if it's like potential volunteers or prospective like volunteers, that might be. What's that? Poverty fighter? There you go. Thank you. Something better, right? Something more like you're patting them on the back and giving them a big thumbs up. You can also make the list private. That way, if it's donors, then you can keep that list private while tracking everything they say to kind of wait for that opportunity to kind of offer them some help or advise them about something. So I find private lists are a really, really valuable way to sort of do some salesy type stuff through the social web. You can drag and drop people into lists once you've created columns out of them. Bulk scheduling, we talked about scheduling, so with Hootsuite you can actually schedule your posts to go out at a specific time and day. You can also do bulk scheduling, so if you have 50 different messages, Hootsuite won't let you send duplicate messages. We don't want people doing that, so if you upload a document with duplicate messages, it won't work. But you can upload up to 50, so it's in a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet that you create these tweets with the links and the content and the time of day that you want to go out, and you upload that, and all 50 will be scheduled to go out at the times you specify. So if you have sort of calls to action or donor comments, those kind of things can work to your advantage if you're using bulk scheduling. Do you have a question? Like you had something to say?
I was just thinking, like, that's one of the tools I don't use, but I just didn't use that for my clients. I just don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either. It's a feature of the product. I would rather have someone manually type out all the things and schedule them that way, but it's almost the same thing. My recommendation is
I just think my clients keep our content too fresh to plan 50 tweets.
Well, it's not necessarily about your content. It can be different messaging and different calls to action to push people to the donor page or the volunteer page, right? And you just have that different messaging coming out as opposed to you're pointing people to different content, right? As opposed to content, maybe focusing on sort of the call to action or what the goal is and driving people to that goal. Calls to action. You can find influencers. This is a feature of the Pro tool. So you can actually filter any stream or column that you create with a Clout score. Clout is the web's sort of premier measure of influence. It's KLOUT. I don't know if it's the best thing in the world. The Vancouver RT bot, which just retweets everything from Vancouver, has a cloud score of like 60. But I like to abuse the city bots. So if you've never abused the city bots, definitely try it. Put Calgary, put Vancouver, put Winnipeg, put Toronto, put Montreal, all in one tweet. That tweet will be retweeted to all of those cities, and those bots have thousands of followers. It's kind of a cool little trick you can do. So you can find influencers this way. So if you're looking for people who are really influential, if you have lots of people talking about your cause, then you can use the cloud filter to filter those people. Geo search. This is like my favorite thing to do with HootSuite that people don't use. I created geo searches for people talking about PCFF Vancouver, and then also people talking about HootSuite. There's an advanced technique where you can actually create geo searches for every single city, anywhere in the world. So you can actually have a search for people talking about whatever it is you want to be searching for, with a geo, longitude and latitude, and a certain proximity around that place or that location. If you're interested, I have a walkthrough that'll teach you all that stuff.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
What percentage of people actually allow their location to be used for this to work?
Well, it's two factors. One is the default is now to have your tweets geotagged. The other is that even if you're not geotagged, if you list your location as Vancouver, then it's going to find those as well. So it's a lot of people. I don't. It's funny because none of these people, like WJ's the movie, you guys, Monica, they don't have geotagging on their tweets, but it's still pulling their tweets in. So I don't know. It's a Twitter thing. Everything's built into Twitter, so we'd have to look at Twitter and ask them about how that works. But it's a pretty magical thing. And yeah, we're teaching a lot of our clients how to use it right now. They're all about geo, and it's all about that localization. If you're a pizza shop in Vancouver, you don't really want to be finding people talking about pizza in Calgary or in Seattle. Cool beans. Scale with drafts. If you have frequently asked questions or lots of people have the same query repeatedly, you can actually save a draft, and you can then pull that up. So we change features, we change the outlay of our product once in a while, and we use the drafts to help people with those frequently asked questions. Like when a default changes and people start complaining, I just pull up that draft and send it to the people. Measure, analyze, and report. You can actually create custom reports around your clicks, stats, as well as Facebook Insights and Google Analytics with the tool. Where's your reader? This is a really cool advanced technique to actually integrate something like Google Reader. Anyone know what Google Reader is? Google Reader is a way for you to read RSS feeds, so you can feed your favorite blogs and websites into a reader and then read them all from the reader. You don't have to go out to the websites and check them. This is a workaround that I've done, and this is an account I have. It's called Tempo Hoots, and all it is just I have all these RSS feeds pumped in here from top tech and social media blogs, and so whenever I want to read the latest news, I don't have to go to those blogs or to my reader. I just look at that column in my HootSuite dashboard. So that's another cool advanced kind of technique / workaround. You're looking at me like I'm talking some crazy language here.
No, I like that. I want to do that.
And I have Hoot Kits for all of you. I think you all got them already. Tracy, do you have a Hoot Kit? Does anyone want a beer cozy? All right, that's me. Any questions?
Yep. I want you to show.
You're like my equal. I love it.
Pardon?
You're my equal.